Can I start with this? Thursday Night Football is upon us. And Thursday Night Football is one of those things where everybody goes, oh boy, Thursday Night Football. And I don't love West Coast Thursday Night Football games because you're asking a lot, not just of the viewer to tune in on Thursday night, a non-traditional NFL night, but you're asking a lot of West Coast fans to show up so early, especially for games of such importance. And tonight's game is important. Take the Chargers, who are 1-point favorites on the road, fresh off a win over the Green Bay Packers, a very fortunate, downright lucky win over the Chicago Bears. They're at 4-5. They'll get an extra couple days to prepare for the Kansas City Chiefs in Mexico City. They're going to go train in Colorado Springs. And oh yeah, by the way, this is the healthiest that they've been, and they're going to get healthier as Derwin James is set to come back after their bye week. The Chargers have a legit chance to get back into the playoffs, and if they get back into the playoffs and if they can remain healthy, if you watched them last week, you're like, wait a second. Melvin Gordon finally sharp. Hunter Henry finally fully back. Offensive line finally healthy. And oh yeah, by the way, the defense has Ingram, Bosa, and would have Derwin James. That's a team that could compete with and maybe beat anybody. But maybe more importantly is the team on the other side. The commitment to excellence. The Oakland, soon to be Las Vegas, Raiders, who last year kind of resorted to the commitment to excrement as they jettisoned Khalil Mack, and somehow, outside of this show, because this show was behind him the entire way, outside of this show, Jon Gruden became a punchline. Oh, couldn't say anything about his defensive line. You used to have Khalil Mack. Anytime Khalil Mack would do anything, he used to be a Raider, and they gave him away. Completely dismissing the idea that Khalil Mack didn't just require 2 first-round picks. He got a $90 million contract, the biggest contract in the history of the league at his position. You free up that money, you free up those draft picks, you completely gut and rebuild a team, and guess what? I'm waiting for others in America to say, I was wrong, it is working. The Raiders enter tonight 4-4. They still have the Bengals, the Jets, the Broncos on the road. Toss-up games against the Titans and the Jaguars. Sure, maybe they'll lose in LA against the Chargers, which is basically a home game, and they'll lose in Kansas City against the Chiefs. But they should finish somewhere between 7-9 and hell, maybe 9-7. And considering they were 6-10 under Jack Del Rio, they'd made the playoffs once in 20 years. To be somewhere around 500, to have 2 first-round draft picks, to have cap space, and frankly, they dodged a bullet with the Antonio Brown thing. Their offense is averaging 4 more points a game. Their third down percentage has gone from 23rd in the league to 2nd in the league. Their red zone touchdown percentage has gone from 22nd to 12th in the league. Rush yards are up from 25th in the league to 6th in the league. And the rush TDs are up to 13th in the league from 30th. They found an offensive line. They found their next star running back. Their quarterback is playing better. Their defense continues to improve slightly over time. And they'll have more draft picks to take more chances at more young players that'll be under club control. Just say it. It was wrong. Sorry. Thought Jon Gruden didn't know what he's doing. Thought it was the Raiders. What was his decision making? How can you get rid of Khalil Mack? How can you trade away Amari Cooper? This is how. Because teams do win in the NFL. Sure, you could point out the schedule may have appeared to be an easier one to start the season. But remember, they just finished arguably the most difficult stretch in the history of the NFL in terms of scheduling. Like, think about it. Not only are they 4-4, but here are the Raiders who they played the Chiefs at home. They went to Minnesota, took on the Vikings. They took on the Colts on the road. They played the Bears in London. They played the Packers in Green Bay, the Texans in Houston before returning home to beat the Lions. That's as tough a 5-game stretch during over 6 weeks as you're going to find in the history, or 6-game stretch over the history of this sport. You don't play at home for over a month. You give away a home game to London, which I don't know if you have to buy a map. That's on the other side of the world from Oakland. So it's okay to go, I was kind of knee-jerky. I kind of thought he didn't know what he was doing. I kind of figured he was just a TV guy. Old boy Gottlieb said, he's a good football guy. He knows what he's doing. He's got to make some smart draft picks. He's got to invest wisely. Sure, the Antonio Brown thing seemed to be a disaster. Let's be honest, you had Antonio Brown on this team. Pretty damn good. Pretty good. And this is why he wanted 10 years, because he knew it was going to be bad the first year. He knew that you couldn't make an argument for the player as opposed to the coach, right? That's the difference. And why there's no discipline in Cleveland, because everyone knows if somebody's going to go, it's going to be Freddie Kitchens, who has no street cred. Gruden had a lifetime appointment to a job on Monday Night Football. And the only thing he was going for was an FU money deal. Well, what's the line from Billions? What's the point of having FU money if once in a while you don't say FU? He took one look at that house, and people were trying to pitch him on, if you just paint here a little bit, you redo the tile. You got Khalil Mack and Amari Cooper, and he's like, wait, hold on. I think Amari Cooper is good. I think Khalil Mack's good, but it'd be better is if I had a whole actual football team. And Derek Carr has fully bought in. He's not crazy expensive going forward to next year at like $20 million. That's actually a discount rate in comparison to the rest of the NFL. He'll have plenty of money to spend and plenty of draft picks to get new players with. Just say it. Was wrong about the Raiders. Was wrong about the Raiders. They're trusting the process, and the process is in fact working. They own their own first-round pick plus the Bears, and an additional third-round pick from the Bears as well. Dude, they're rolling in. They're in a good spot. Win or lose tonight, the product is better, and they're getting ready to be in Las Vegas with a much better football team, much more soundly built football team than they've had in the last 15 seasons. You can watch tonight in terms of affecting the playoffs. The Chargers winning has the greatest effect on the league. But the Raiders tanked in a different way than we're seeing with the Jets, in a different way than we're seeing with the Miami Dolphins. They didn't have to lose every game. They're just doing it with a volume of first-round picks, getting rid of two very, very key assets, but guys who needed new contracts. And those sizable new contracts, however earned they are, they do weigh you down when you're trying to rebuild an entire franchise. Look, I looked at those trades and said, I think these are good trades, but most people looked at them and said, Gruden's crazy. What are you doing? Why are you giving up? You don't give away Pro Bowl caliber talent. And Khalil Mack and Amari Cooper, when healthy, have played above and beyond anyone's reasonable level of expectations. They've earned that money that they've already gotten or are going to get. But that doesn't change the fact that Jon Gruden knew he was giving up something, but he had to get a chance at something even greater in return, a football team. And they have one in Oakland. Hi, I'm Doug Gottlieb from Fox Sports Radio, and you need to subscribe to the Fox Sports Radio YouTube channel where you can hear and see me. Why not? Plus everybody else who's awesome here in Fox Sports Radio.